flight of the Holy Family into Egypt. We know very well that when Mary and Joseph went to Bethlehem, they were rejected. There was not place for them in an inn, and so they ended up in a manger, and that's where Jesus was born. And so they were not accepted in the place of birth of Joseph. Again, they were rejected. But in this second sorrow of Mary, we know that they're not only rejected from Bethlehem, but they are actually now rejected from their homeland. Mary and Joseph have to take the child Jesus all the way to Egypt because they cannot remain in Judea or in Galilee, but they have to flee to a distant country. And Mary had this sorrow in her heart, especially knowing that it was not her, the one that they were rejecting, it was Jesus. Jesus was the one being rejected. And Mary loved Jesus so much that she suffered for herself and for Joseph, but especially for Jesus Christ. Also, we can think that the one that was persecuting Christ was Herod. And certainly he's the instrument that God allowed to persecute Jesus. But ultimately, what Jesus is persecuted by is by our own sins. Jesus goes to Egypt because our own sins made him leave Judea, leave the Holy Land. And so Mary suffers this second sorrow ultimately because of our sins. So as we reflect on the second sorrow of Mary, perhaps we can think about accompanying her in this sorrow as she's at a distant place from her own homeland, but also we can turn to Jesus and ask him for forgiveness for our sins, and ask him for the grace to remain in his friendship, to remain in his love, so that we may not persecute him with our sins anymore. Let us ask for these two graces as we reflect on today's sorrow, the second sorrow of Mary, the flight of the Holy Family into Egypt.